Although this story starts about 30 years ago, I've only recently, in the last 2 years, decided to research this. Also, I've had a career before that, but I've decided to put my career aside for the last 2 years while I've gone out in the woods and researched the woods people. This video will go from the Area 1 that I call it, and then it will go to Area 2, which is another place, and then we will go to Area 3, and there's actually an Area 4 that we're researching right now. So, everything starts off with me buying a high definition camera with night vision so I can take photos of the various lights I'd been seeing going over my house and going up towards these mountains that I'm about to tell you about. So off I went one day with my new camera. It was May something, and it says on the video, and I was out there just to have fun and learn about my camera when I came across this. I spotted what I thought looked like snow on the ground, so I walked over to it, and as I neared it, I realized that it was like a fur or a hair was lying on the ground. And I thought, oh, there's been a kill here. So I came up, and the hair on the back of my neck was sticking up, but I walked over and I was expecting to see body parts and all that kind of stuff lying around, but all I did was find this hair. Just clumps of hair lying on the ground, and it was on top of what looked like a dung material. And the hair appeared to be cut off, like it had been hacked off with something like a sharp knife, or well, a semi-sharp knife, or scissors or something like that. And then there was this log here that I was looking at, and there was little clumps of hair along it, and little clumps of hair along that log. But what I was looking for were body parts to suggest what kind of animal this was, or something, or how this hair fur got here. And as I was looking around and I followed this little trail, I came down to the little bottom of this little knoll, and there was this broken bottle jammed in the ground. And it didn't mean anything to me at the time, but then now I realize it was the bottle. That bottle was used to cut the fur, or hack the fur off, or hair, whatever it is, off this creature that had been here. And right now I'm following a little tiny trail up to this mound and where all the hair is and fur was. I could find no body parts whatsoever, and so I had no clue what this was all about. Since then, a friend of mine, maybe a couple weeks later, I was explaining to him what I had seen out there, and he said, "Oh, that's Bigfoot." And I kind of laughed, and I said, "Yeah, uh-huh." So I decided to go out there and see what was up. And so I went out there and to go retrieve the hair, and all the hair was gone. I went to retrieve the bottle, and the bottle was gone. There was no hair left on the ground. Everything had been picked up, and the place was clean as far as that goes. But I did remember that I'd seen clumps of hair on the logs. So I went over to those, and sure enough, the clumps of hair were still on the logs. So I sat on the log and surmised what they were trying to do. And then I started looking underneath the log and just around, and I realized there was hairs underneath, and underneath the ferns and all that. Not lots of them, but quite a few. And so what I did was I gathered all these up, and found other little bone fragments, and I actually found what looked like a big um, dropping, and it was about 15 inches long, had broken into 4 pieces, but it was right next to this area that I was sitting on. And if you'll look at this next clump that I show you, this shows how it looks like it's been cut off. And all the pieces are like that. As you'll notice, it looks like it's been hacked off. This is a good clump. This is from the spring. See, what I realized is the hair that I was finding underneath this hair, I was realizing this was from the fall. They were taking off the dark colored hair, getting down to the light colored hair. And the other hair that we saw in the beginning was from them in the spring, where they were getting rid of the white hair and getting down to the dark hair again for the rest of the year. Well, as you can gather, this got me really excited, this find and all that I started going out into the woods every single day and seeing what was out there. And what happened was, the rest of the story was that I started to realize that people were out there, and they started playing games with me, whereupon I would leave something and they would do something with it and or take it with them. So what we do now is I give them gifts and they give me gifts back. They've given me a beaver, they've given me half a fish, they've given me little flower parts, little feathers. They always leave me signs that they've been there, and etc., etc., etc. You'll see in the rest of the video of this ongoing story. So for the first year, what I did was crisscross the area of interest to see what the boundaries were for these people and see what kind of signs they leave, and so I can get an idea of who they are, what they're doing, etc., etc., etc. Well, it came down to where I found this was the only place that I hadn't explored and didn't really want to explore, because the whole field here, which looks like a field, is all trenches. Some of them are pretty deep, some of them are pretty wide, but it's all trenches, and it's treacherous walking through there. But if you do know how to get through there, you can get through there. And in the center, where actually the camera is pointing now, there is a little clearing in the middle of the trees, where I realize that's where they sit, or whoever I'm dealing with sits and looks around, and you can't get to him easily. And so I went over there, and sure enough, what I did was I found a hole in the ground, a trench, which had been covered in sticks and had been used earlier. And I think I have the video here. Let's put this up.